Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. So I'm trying to switch the screen up a little bit, so I hope that you guys like what I've changed. Yeah, this one is fine, but I know on CT. This one. All right. And bring it back down. And I'll just expand this to make it the same size. Okay. So yeah, now nothing's getting covered up. And you can see my profit. And you can see some orders. So, you know, it's kind of nice, I think. All right, so anyways, action yesterday. E-mini was just, what a ride. We moved down quite a bit, but we ended the day higher, and they actually closed higher than the previous open. So, yeah, that's extremely positive. I don't know about this head and shoulders theory now, but I mean, if it comes back to here, it could still happen. But I don't think that sellers are giving up quite yet. Anyways, you can kind of see how it went. They really, they really sold it yesterday, and it recovered. So, kind of this thing I was saying yesterday about this kind of has crescendo selling written on it because it's based so much on this news, and it might be the worst that the news gets, at least in the short term. Definitely happen, but we'll see how true that ends up being, because we might get more crazy today. You know what I mean? Let's get rid of some of these. That sound was the jigsaw leaderboard thing. Okay. Anyways, and then Treasuries moved very, very high off of that, and they're still relatively elevated, although we're slightly lower than we opened up yesterday, at least. So if the E-mini continues to buy, we have a really good setup to go short, and we are up at highs, so it is quite a good setup to go short. But I think that people are still scared. The E-mini is at its lows of the overnight session right now. That's kind of how it's going right now. Also, do I have enough room for it? Yes, I do. I like it. I can put that there. And this obviously doesn't have to be there. But boom. All right, bring this back over here. Okay, let's grab the links. Oh, we got to talk about Bitcoin too. I like to kind of wait until there's more people here so we can talk about Bitcoin, because I know that's what people, one of the things that people are interested in and that I can provide real insight to. So yeah, let's grab that. Also, hope you guys enjoyed watching Igor yesterday. It sounds like, I can't watch it when I'm at work, but it sounds like you guys were having fun. So yeah. I'm just going to close a bunch of these windows. What do we have on the docket today? Not a whole lot, actually. Industrial production at 7:15. I'll refresh this one. All right. There's that one.
In emerging market news, India is said to seek closer supervision of its central bank.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I do see people filtering in now. So here's this. Okay, so now to talk about the Bitcoins, we need to pull up Linux. I'm just going to split this window out. So we want to look at Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin ABC. Oh, and USDC. So what they're trading it in. So Bitcoin SV has actually had a pretty decent run up overnight. Bitcoin ABC is still doing good, but it's pretty flat. So kind of what's happening is that some big Bitcoin advocates came out and said, well, not Bitcoin, but some big Bitcoin Cash players came out and said, well, we're not going to allow somebody to come in and...
Beth Ripley here just saying, just to be clear, that Steve Baker tells me he thinks an announcement of a vote could come today or next week, now more likely as MPs consult associations, but only Sir Graham knows.
But basically, they decided they didn't like what was going on, and they committed a bunch of hash power to Bitcoin ABC, and so Bitcoin ABC is actually more hash power right now and has been is ahead in blocks. I believe that is still the case, that they're ahead in blocks, but they're going to disappear at some point, and so that's why Bitcoin SV has kind of been picking up, because people are realizing that the it's not over. So they're coming up now over here. I'm just going to close that window. We're here in Bitcoin, so I can have Bitcoin up here in the bottom. Isn't that nice? And I could just keep it here if we want. Just hide the orders now. So Bitcoin is still just kind of bouncing along the bottom here. It's kind of just big sell and balance, which is okay. Oh, I just made
heads
a
up
new
now,
high.
3 minutes away from the Canadian manufacturing sales month on month for September, looking for an estimate of spot 3%.
Where's my UB one? Oh, that's a UB one. Really want the yes. Okay. I can move these two and show both of them. At least I can see both of them. So that'd be nice. I like that. Okay. Oh, another thing I want to keep alert people to is that apparently it snowed snowing pretty hard in the Northeast, and so you might get one of these days where people have to trade but they don't really want to. You get some odd behavior in this, so I would stay on your toes. Okay, so that last headline about Brexit definitely brought some more fear into the market, didn't it?
One minute.
So he's talking about the Canadian data, I think, right? I don't even have anything listed. I don't have the Canadian data showing up on here. That's why. Yes, so we get manufacturing sales and foreign securities purchases by the Canadians.
The EU Commission to take first step in disciplining Italy over its 2019 budget on November the 21st. That's EU officials. Just to repeat that, EU Commission to take first step in disciplining Italy over its 2019 budget on November 21st. That's Reuters citing EU officials. 5 seconds on the data.
I'm going to take this one.
Spot 2% for Canadian manufacturing sales month on month. The prior revised down to minus spot 5% from a prior of minus spot 4. Before all that, just in auto news, Volkswagen to invest 44 billion euros through 2023 on future automotive technology. Volkswagen still targets at least 10 billion net cash flow by 2020. Diesel crisis will still impact cash outflows in 2019 and 2020.
Cool beans.
Fed's Clarida in CNBC interview says so far does not see clear signal from markets. That's Fed Vice Chairman Clarida speaking in an interview with CNBC. Clarida says don't get clear signal from stock markets so far.
Let's move that up like that.
The
How's that
Fed rate
look?
hike cycle has been very gradual.
Well, it's come down a tick. This has been very quiet.
Its policy rate is barely above the rate of inflation. Will not agree that Fed rate hikes are going too fast, too far, or too fast.
Well, that is not. The market's not going to like that kind of hawkish talk again. They want the Fed to say, hey, maybe we should slow this down a bit.
So we'll set a policy to meet our congressional goals.
Well, it didn't take much to take it up there.
Florida says gradual policy approach has served the Fed well.
ES is what we want to see. Okay,
Now
so
got any
ES
comments
is
from Fed
moving on
Kaplan. Says
lows.
increasing debt to GDP is a tailwind now. He's speaking in an interview with Fox Business Network. Florida says Fed needs to be especially data dependent. Kaplan says rising debt to GDP to become a headwind in the future.
Okay. You might see E-mini make a little bit of a pullback here. Treasuries aren't too interested in selling though.
Kaplan says US needs to moderate growth of government debt. Or from Clarida says Fed policy is getting closer to vicinity of neutral.
Okay, so that's bad.
As Clarida says, close to neutral range now. Being at neutral makes sense.
Yep, well, they took it out pretty easily. I'm seeing some absorption now in the 5-year as well. Okay.
Clarida says there's some evidence of global slowing. The Fed has to factor this in the global outlook. Clarida says we've seen bottom on productivity growth. Says he's optimistic on outlook.
So I'm just watching this thing in the E-mini because it looks like a possible bounce here. And when we broke the highs, it just did not. It did not really do anything super spectacular. That was not a signal that I could just take long as as more high, and so that's why I'm holding out here. But of course, if it doesn't work out, I'm probably going to be spectacularly wrong.
Kaplan says risks globally are to the downside.
Mm.
The reader says there's still some room to run in the labour market.
Okay. I missed that one by Druggy, but I think that the squat guy did say that as well, didn't he? He's like reporting on 3 different conversations here. Okay.
The reader says don't expect a big pickup in inflation next year. The reader now contradicting himself, saying we're certainly not at neutral yet.
Hmm.
But just before that comment, Fed's Korea says close to neutral range now. Being at neutral makes sense. Now saying we're not at neutral yet.
So there's the buyers in ES trying to make a push, a recovery here.
Kaplan says inflation pressures are building, not running away.
Some stops there that time.
Kaplan says the Fed has some latitude to be patient on policy.
They're eating into that 005 a little too easily. But the E-mini did come down a little bit. This is right here.
Kaplan says Fed might have some further rate moves to go.
Well, that's hawkish. She's talking pretty hawkish, I think, but they're not reacting to her hawkish comments at all. It's the E-mini is just unhappy and they're reacting to that. That's my take.
Kaplan says he's going to avoid predetermining rate move.
Now this time the E-mini is actually moving up almost about to break the previous pivot, and treasuries are still pushing up. So looks like we're wrong. Oh.
That plan says Fed job is to set policy in political way.
Well, I'm experimenting a little bit here, so let's see if I can. Okay. Nope. Hmm. Okay. So that was a strong downtick. Strong downtick, but some of it pulled when they hit into it. That's super interesting. The E-mini is getting a little more exciting here. You see that at 1.
Laura Kuensberg here now saying two more names, Chris Green and Marcus Fish, add to the 8, but EIG don't expect one until Monday.
So the E-mini is actually rising now to the highest level since I've started trading. is in fact still going. But it looks like that the correlation is just not there, is it?
Yeah, as Koonsberg's now saying, she says she doesn't necessarily expect to hear anything from Brady, who's the person who really knows until Monday as to whether the threshold has been reached. As she flagged in the wires of picking, Brady seems to have left SW1 for the weekend.
I kind of think that they are stirring the pot here.
Koonsberg saying here there are Remainer names as well as Brexiteer names list on the next Brexit secretary. If it's a Remainer, then I wonder if that would mean more letters emerge. Laura Koonsberg there.
Wow, they just ate right through that. We are.
DLG Steve Baker repeating he doesn't know how many letters are in, and he says, I will vote against this deal. Kaplan now saying global growth going to hit a headwind.
All right.
Saying it may spill to the US.
Just gonna kind of wait. I think they're stirring the pot here. I should. Well, it doesn't matter now. See, this looks like a sell to me again. I'm not quite sure what's. It's just there was 5K there in the 5-year, and they ticked through it, and now there's 4K coming out here, and there's another big offer. Like, people are getting out of this. I don't know if that's a reversal, but Hard to get a fill here. I don't know. And the E-mini is moving up. But like they were saying in chat, it could be, you know, the move up appears to be based on inflation of some sort. And so Draghi comments and Fed comments overall, I guess they decided it was a buy. So that correlation might not matter. And this may continue to just keep going. They're putting big pressure on it. It and that 7 pulled too. So like, is there even a place to get a pullback on this thing? Good grief. Of course, when I take it long is exactly when it decides that they actually will take a 1 tick pullback.
Block cell.
Jeez, guys.
Pro-Brexit minister said to be working to changes to May's deal. Just to repeat that, pro-Brexit minister said to be working to change May's deal. Person familiar speaking anonymously about Brexit working group. Fox, Grayling, Mordaunt, Gove and Leeson said to be in the group.
I think today is the worst day to try this experiment. Okay. Hmm. Well, that's a big iceberg at O2. E-mini is turning around. It's like they had that really big rush up and then they pulled back and now the E-mini is coming down. Are they gonna push higher? They're still absorbing some at O2. So now been well over 2K. Look at this in the 5-year as well. Big bid side absorption. They traded through it.
Just a heads up then, just under 10 minutes time till we get the release system US data. Industrial production month on month for October. Looking for reading of spot 2% against a prior read of spot 3%. The range between minus spot 4 and spot 7%. Capacity utilization sees adjusted for. We're looking there for a read of 78.2%. Prior of 78.1, the range between 77.9 and 78.5.
Connection lost.
And lastly, manufacturing output month on month for October. There we look for reader spot 2% unchanged on the prior, and the range between minus spot 4 to spot 6%.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving it, because we're having so much range, I've been trying to give it 4 ticks. I don't, but I'm doing something different today too, right? I'm giving myself 4 contracts to do this, so. I don't expect it to be very good at it at the beginning, right? Let's just let it play itself out, okay? Still have some pretty significant buy side absorption here at the O2. And the E-mini is going to have to pull back. Well, not have to, but at the moment it looks like it's coming back a little bit. My bigger problem here, though, is that I'm not seeing edges very well at all, am I? Because I had numerous spots where I thought that I could sell it safely that were not safe at all, right? It just plowed right through me. And then I had a place where I thought I could get long, and that's where we actually had a real reversal. And now we're sitting on an edge. I mean, this definitely appears to be an edge of some sort because we have gotten a zipper here, which I wasn't getting before. But now it might fall right through this. Right? Let's see, it's not. They're trading through 015 now. It's not. It's not working out. Okay. Okay. How long has that 6 at 025 been there for? E-mini just bought there. Some company earnings of some sort. They didn't beat out the last high. Still not a strong bid. Mm.
Just a heads up then, just under 3 minutes time till we get the release US data. Just a quick recap on the estimates. Industrial production looking for a read of spot 2%. Capacity utilization look for a print of 78 to 2%. And manufacturing output looking for a reading of spot 2%. We'll lead with the industrial production number. Just in commodities news here, industry sources saying a production glitch delaying some North Sea Ekofisk crude cargoes loading in November by a few days. So on this letter scenario in Brexit news, I think Adam Payne on Twitter summarizes it well. This morning, Steve Baker told ERG MPs the number of letters was over 48. This information was leaked. A few hours ago, he said the number was close to 48. Now he says we might have to wait until next week.
Oh, good job, Freehawk. Well, what should we do? Should we... I clearly have no clue what it's going to do.
One minute.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna make money today, Zerf. But this is an experiment of trading 4 contracts, right? So far, it's a complete fucking disaster. So now it's like, are they going to go back to 30.5?
Industrial spot 1%, capacity 78.4%, manufacturing spot 3%. We do have revisions. The industrial production figure, the price being revised downward to spot 2% from previous prior spot 3%. Capacity wise, the price being revised upward to 78.5% from a previous prior of 78.1%. And manufacturing output, the prior has been revised upward to spot 3% from a previous prior of spot 2%. Just to repeat that then, industrial production for October coming in as a miss at spot 1%, that's of spot 2%. Capacity slightly higher than the estimated 78.2 and at 78.4%. And manufacturing output a beat on off spot 2% in at spot 2%. The effects appear to be less than spot 1%.
I don't know. So, I see a case for this to move up. Because they are holding this price okay, and they're going to want to try and take another look at the high.
The more from that pro-Brexit group squawked earlier. Laura Hughes on Twitter here. Andrea Laysom is convening the core Brexit cabinet members in the next couple of days. They will discuss how to move the dial. Dutch PM Rutte here saying unlikely EU countries would try to make serious changes to the proposed Brexit deal.
God damn it.
Italy to EU risks to public finances. Limited position is strong. Risks to public finances. Limited position strong. Italy saying the recent rise in government bond yields is manageable. Comments are coming from Treasury reports on relevant factors for debt.
Well, if I had gotten my fill at 01, I'm so pissed, guys. Fuck.
Keeping an eye on comments from German Finman Scholes as we see him on the rise.
So, we right back up here, one tick below the previous high, but there was not nearly as much delta on that move. We're 10,000 contracts less. So, if we break a new high, there's going to be a lot of stops. A lot of stops. If we don't break a new high, we could completely retrace this whole thing. Well, the 5-year did make a new high. Hmm. Look at that. Order showing up in the 5-year now. Got a bail. Fuck. I am just getting it wrong every time, guys. Look at that bid go. Yeah. It's kind of a typical Friday thing too, isn't it? Like Friday tends to be more tricky. It's usually the opposite way. It's usually that the liquidity ends up pushing us somewhere that we shouldn't be in. Blah, blah, blah. They've still not made a new cumulative delta high even after all of that. Yeah, the 2 years is pushing pretty hard, isn't it? Oops. Oops. Hmm. So a new high, and not a new high in cumulative delta. Quite short. Some negative delta. I feel very strongly that this is a short, but I've been wrong so much today. No. I have a chance to get out at a small ass. Why do you not do that? Hope. No, because the trade is. I'm really not sure how to do this multiple contracts thing because, well, I'm already up to. I put in. I went all in at like. Let me back up. What I was trying to do was take a position and then see that there's a range here, and then with the second contract, kind of get out through the range. Didn't work. And in fact, it actually kind of led me to make some poor decisions, I think. I think that was part of why the poor decision making on the first one. So now I've decided I'm going to put them all in at the one price and maybe take them off and on throughout the move. So I put them all in at 03. They went up and they made a new high. But it didn't hit my stop. But now what I see is a lower high in cumulative delta and cumulative delta overall trending down and the E-mini buying in cumulative delta, by the way. So to me, why would I get out at 035? Really, all that's telling me right now is that I picked the wrong price and I could have shorted it 2 ticks higher. But if this trade works out, it's going to go all the way back to the VWAP. Probably. That should be the target for this. We'll see if there's enough time for me to get that, but now I could have gotten out at 31.25 and then gone short at at 0.35. I could have gotten out at 0.35 and then gone short at 0.40. But how did I know that was going to happen? And what if I had gotten out and then it had gone all the way, the trade had actually worked, happened? Then I would feel really stupid, right? There are some big bids below us in the 5-year. Now, I did not notice that before. That might change a few things. Hmm. What just happened there? So that was not supposed to happen. Let's just try this one more time, okay? Okay, so he says nothing traded under your entry, so you get at least half out. Oh, that might. Okay. I think that's a legitimate way of looking at it. But in that case, in that particular instance, though, it was still like it depends on how much you're giving it. First of all, right? Like if I'm giving it 4 ticks and it goes 3 against me, and then it comes back to break even, why get out there? Because it's still you're still gonna have it go and get your way, assuming that you haven't seen an exit signal or a reversal signal or something that tells you that your trade was just flat out
From
wrong.
the German Finance Minister Schultz confirmed the German-French Euro accord in December.
Okay, so here's where I get to see for my experiment. Okay, so 030 is getting taken. I can get a contract filled here. Okay, I did. Okay. Now that I've taken that, the numbers that I'm seeing over here on the side are really confusing to me. And why is it telling me that, because I only took one tick there, right? Why is it telling me that my closed profit is 62? Oh, was it because I took 4 on that, and then I took 1 here, and now it's a new trade? See, I guess I should consider here that I'm really, my theoretical average, the average that it says for me to like break even on everything is here, but my theoretical average, because I have some closed profit, is actually here, because it only tells me my um it the average that it gives me is based on um excuse me, it is based on the the open profit and not the closed profit. The media is trading pretty wild.
Gold segment and also adhere.
Okay. What am I doing? I see an opportunity to get uh, man, this is hard for me to explain. I may not actually know what I'm doing, but I I'm I have 4 contracts. I'm only in 2 right now. I wanted to get them shorted 0.35, but it didn't work out. I see some continued move down, potentially, but I also can see that people are getting a lot of fills at 0.2. So if I can get filled at 0.25, and I've got a good spot in the queue to do it, I should be able to get out at 0.2. Okay. So Zerv is saying, I see. It's a kind of an interesting way of doing it, but I understand. Okay. So that buy impulse was a little bit more than I thought it would be, but it's still looking good. Yes, sir.
Talking about Italy, no government can save the market's verdict.
There is? Is there? Is there? Appearance. Oh, include closed P&L. Oh, lovely.
News 9
Hmm.
Beth Rugby Vice Sky News saying that currently wanting more concessions before the European November 25th. Although support is caveated Chancellor the one's movement next week. Definitely get the sense that we yet move against her on public declarations like.
Well, it very well could do that, but from my read on the market, I think short is correct. It's interesting. Hmm.
At least a Mao now saying the government has no preference for the new Telecom Italia.
Alligator is taking it short in the E-mini. This is what's interesting. This is definitely the balance price, and now I have these orders on both sides of it. So I always theorized that that's why these happen, is because big players have orders like that sitting there, and here I am, and I have the exact same thing set. Okay. Look at how high I've been able to move my theoretical average. I actually don't even necessarily want that. I just want, you know.
German finance minister not calling on UK policymakers to accept the Brexit deal.
Hmm.
If changes whole thing could unravel. would have to record. Kerr thinks as reality and more UK MPs may support the deal.
No, wait, that's not right. Oh, look, it got filled finally.
Kerr does not believe the scope for renegotiation, no matter who the Brexit secretary is. That a no-deal Brexit will be extremely chaotic. After a few weeks, the UK might sign.
Okay, so they got well through 035, and the E-mini is fallen a little bit.
Continuing in a no-deal scenario, very hard to avoid a hard border.
You notice on that one that oh, actually, no, I take that back because ZB was all the way back here, wasn't it? I find Trader, so it sounds to me like Trader is saying that ZB is kind of in charge and that the 5-year is just there for spreads, because that's not the way I look at it at all. I think I look at it as like the 10-year is the most influential, and the 5-year is mostly trying to predict if the 10-year is going to tick up or down. And so the 30-year usually moves first when they see something over here. But then directional wise, especially in a situation like today, the 5-year is the one that's in charge. Like when the 5-year comes to a major pivot, that's when the other two will start doing something. Because the E-mini guys, they trade it in the 5. Is only for today. Okay. I still feel like that, especially today, that the 5-year was the most like if you were to look at like higher highs and lows and those sorts of things, and you were trading on that, then the 5-year was the best one to look at, because the 5-year was the one they took a high way before any of these other ones did. And so this whole thing is really interesting now because, like, look at the delta now.
The opponents don't have an alternate plan. Red card continuing, if no deal might need well, so red card continuing, saying the deal won't be reopened.
Hmm. Where was that last one at? You know what? I need to just have a second window of these. Make it easier. Okay, it was 04 that I sold that other one. Which is okay. I was wondering, did I get it at 045 or 035? Or, no, 04 is okay, because that's where it's balancing. It would have been better to get 045, but because it was balanced at 040, it's okay. That's super interesting. Okay. Look at the E-mini. What they want to make a new high. They're not actually they haven't actually beaten out the overnight high. That's interesting. So some profit taking there.
Bit of energy news now picking up via Platts. OPEC delegates say it may cut of 1 million barrels per day to 1.4 million being discussed. Platts reporting that OPEC delegates is saying that they may cut a 1 million to 1.4 million.
So if I can get this one filled. Come on. It heard me. It heard me, and they're like, "Oh, we better tick it up. Seth wants to fill at 03. We better not let it happen." Come on. And they don't get that close and not do it. Come on. Wow, come on. They sold one at 03. I buyed one. Oh, I sold one at 025 as well. 025, 025. So it was when I sold these? No, I sold here. I don't know why I sold here, but that was bad. I guess at the time it was okay. So in those ones I probably need to bail. I probably could have bailed on a contract or two here. Then I could be selling 045. So we can see those big orders up above us at 080, and they're not nearly as big as they were. That's interesting. What did he say that was dovish? I'm using, oh, sorry, I didn't see that message, but I'm using Jigsaw Day Trader for trading. That was one that I could have taken. I'd say that so far the E-mini is holding pretty well. I think they're going to push through this big order right here. It's awfully tight though. Okay, so they did get through that big order. I could have taken one off. I mean, depending on where I had gotten in at, right? If I hadn't had this kerfluckle, this disaster down here. Well, not a disaster, but I didn't play it quite right down here.
More from Tamao saying he does agree with Draghi on lowering debt. So again, that's Italian Deputy PM Tamao saying in answer that he agrees with Draghi on lowering debt.
Okay. See, they don't want to trade O3, even though the E-mini is going to make a new high here, probably. I mean, if they do make a new high, it could run. It might not run. It might just touch it again. At that time, they didn't. Oh man.
Just a bit of Brexit news now. Sam Coates via the Times making the point on the 1922 motion of confidence. Two MPs, Elphick and Griffiths, have whips suspended, saying the current hurdle is 47 letters, no confidence, not the 48 previously thought.
And how many do they need? There are people outside. So the E-mini is doing a consolidation higher type of pattern. For some reason, they keep pushing bonds up to the highs of the day. What's with that? That was weird. And then you deleted it. This is kind of interesting how they flip it. They totally flipped it there. They were making 045 look weak, and then they hit into 04, and 5,000 contracts absorbed it. Well, the market definitely plays games. Yeah, thanks for chatting with us, trader. I do appreciate the stuff that you say, even though I don't completely understand everything that you say or always agree, but it's still useful. I think it would be more useful if you posted more trades so that people can actually kind of get an idea of um, what kind of trades you take and everything. So there's a lot of like, well, if I know that this guy is only taking 2 ticks at a time, that kind of changes my opinion on what he's saying. Because if I'm looking for a larger move, that might not matter. You know what I mean? It's helpful to know how other people are going to trade. That E-mini wants to make a new high. There you go. Thank you. That's what we wanted. Do I average down? Hmm. Uh, mm. How much delay is the live stream? It's like only 5 seconds. It's not very much at all. It's not very much at all. Okay, so there's this absorption at O2. If I wasn't going through restream.io and I was only doing the YouTube, I don't know about the Twitch, but if I was only doing the YouTube, then the delay wouldn't even be a second. And I could reduce the quality on the video to do fast, and then it would be even less. Then it would be practically real time. But it's kind of a hard thing to do. Like if I was swinging, here's the thing. This is kind of going to sound a little bit conspiratorial, and I don't mean it to be like a conspiracy theory, but it is the way that it is, right? Nobody cares about what you say or do until it actually makes a difference to something, you know? So like nobody really cares that I'm streaming right now. But if I started doing really well and like thousands of people were watching me, then they might start to care, right? And then they might tell me, oh, you can't do that. Or people might try sniping me at that point. So it may get to the point where I might have to turn around and, only do entries off screen and that sort of a thing. But I think we're a very, very long way off from that. But sometimes I do wonder, like that order that I had at 03, man, they sure didn't want to touch it. It's like, I'm doing a good job. I'm actually doing too good of a job at picking these spots now because I have one at 020 and it's not getting filled either. So, and then when they do get filled, they just go right through it, right? So, I'm probably cutting it a little bit close. That one didn't sound very good, did it? Sorry. Do you even read chat? No, I don't. That was an hour ago. Holy crap. I just got told by a friend that you stream. We went to the same high school, but I'm not sure if you ever remember me. Amazing to see that you've become successful. Candace, you used to call me Candy's Nuts. I think that was just a big long joke. Oh man. Pretty sure because I don't know anybody named Candace. No, wait. My ex had a friend named Candace. So I take that back. Okay, so I did get the fill there. It was at O2, right? So here's where having this other one here for me to look at and say, oh, why doesn't it sort it by placed automatically? You know, I bought at 030 and oh wait, which way does it go? Yes, okay. So I bought at 020 and it got filled. Now somebody's offering quite a bit at 020. So I'm wondering, this is super interesting. Could it be the case that your guy, it could be just like what the position that I'm in right now, because I'm doing pretty good on it. I wish that this right here, because when it says open and close, it's like open is only 78, but then it's actually really this particular trade is not completely closed yet. So I wish that would say something different, but that's okay. Oh wait, where did I had this like this, right? Screwed everything up, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. Anyways. So I took a lot off at O2, and now it's showing that they might go through it. So I could go short 2 contracts here if I wanted to, if I really thought that it was going to go all the way back. And I do think that there's a good chance that we get more downside here. So I don't know if I really want to take it because it's 843. But is that why that happens sometimes? Is because somebody decides that, well, so I'm going to take the other contract off. Yep. Because they decide that actually I didn't want to do that and I want to go short again? Or something to that effect, or maybe they're just holding it there because they think they get filled there. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but once I'm starting to look at the multiple contracts thing, I'm starting to notice that there's just things about the way that they might be managing things that is wrong. So my winner was more than my losers, but I had too many losers. And that still ended up being -4 though. That's, well, I guess that was 400 and not 500, and so it's not actually double those. Okay. But these were just super bad trading anyways. Super bad trading, guys. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. Okay. Yes, I do. Oh, it looks like I actually could have gotten a 1-5. Oh, okay. That's okay. Oh, and I should, bloop. Yep, that one. So there was this one right here shouldn't have actually have happened. By the way, that one was like I went wrong long. And sorry, I had to stop and I don't know if I had changed it. So that's another one that we should look at. Was there one that had a quantity of 6 or something? No, there wasn't. So how did I get long 2 contracts? I must have already taken 2 off and didn't realize it or something. Anyways, that one was super bad. But so it was 055 where it got long. You see that? That was like super dumb. So there's actually should be more in this than there is. But this one in particular, and then this one was like tilting and. Now the other problem is that that wouldn't work for. That definitely wouldn't work for a combine. The 4 contracts. So when I was looking at it, I was like, well, I could take 4 contracts, and that would be the maximum risk for. But top step trader combine, you're not gonna. I think that the max in one day is 1,000, right? I always tried to never go over 500. So I don't know. And I need to think about how to. It seems like I should only be scaling into winners, you know? Like, if I pull the thing over here, you know, I went short, I think, here. Or here. No, where was the overnight high? I went short like here. Right? 620. Yes. I went short on the open, basically. And then it broke me out. And then I added some. That was bad, right? Should have gotten out. And if I still wanted to be short and gotten out, waited for this one, I could have gotten short again, 1 contract and only lost 1. Gotten here, gone short 1 contract and managed the position that way. And then if this had happened, then I might have still been able to get out with a little bit of profit, and then I could have done it again. And then this is where I took my trade. Right, well, so I learned a lot today. I learned a lot today, even though it was a fucking disaster. But I think I'm going to continue to do this. I also think when it was trending like the way that it was, that I should only have 2 contracts on, I think. That 4 contract should be more for like when it's really rangy or something. Okay, well, I need to post my notes. Thank you guys for watching. Got a couple of people on Twitch, so definitely thanks. As always, well, first, like and subscribe to the channels. That helps a lot. Even if you never come to the channel again, that's fine. But if you like and subscribe, it helps us. But then the thing that I would really recommend that you do.
We get the U.S. Kansas City Fed manufacturing activity for November.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Check out my Patreon. Even if you don't contribute to the Patreon, there is information on there that I post every day, and the public can see 3 days after it is posted. That is very important. Well, not very important, but it can make you money in cryptocurrencies. It's this indicator has real established edge. I trade my own money on it. I've made money on it this year, not tons, but I've made like $1,000 on it this year. So yeah, but I'm gonna go and post those notes right now. So yeah, and would really like if you subscribe to the Patreon. If you find it useful, share it with people, because we're kind of trying to get this information out, because I feel like that the market does not understand, and this is critical information for people to value cryptocurrencies and kind of reduce some of the volatility that we have. So yeah, that's my little spill. I would appreciate it if you guys take a look at that. And yeah, I'm always around in chat, so if you want to ask me a question in Discord, just use my name. And otherwise, I will see you guys on Monday.